So a lot of y'all have been asking me, Summer, what is that holster you're using? What is this one? All this kind of good stuff. So I decided today is the day to make the video of all the holsters that I have used thus far in my shooting journey. So let's jump right into it. In no particular order, I have a few holsters that I've been running for a little while, depending on the situation, whether it's competition, whether it's EDC, or I just want to make sure my gun is holstered. I've figured out how to get a holster. So very first holster, and I think, no, this is not the first one, but I started running this holster. This is a black Scorpion Gear holster and holster, like the belt attachment. This was for my Canik SFX rival that I was running in competition when I first got started. Other than the standard Canik holster that came with the Canik, after that I felt like this one just kind of sits too high, so I got the black Scorpion Gear holster. As you can see, it is missing a screw because I have not ran this in a long time, but it ran great. Black Scorpion does have some really great options for basically whatever you're trying to do, but specifically this one was for competition. And as best as I can, I'll try to leave y'all some links and resources with all the holsters that I have. That way you can go check it out if you so desire. So the very first one is the Black Scorpion holster for the SFX Rival X. Again, it does have that very nice belt attachment, has a little extension here that pushes out on your hip. This part I really don't like in shooting competition because it, like, once you wear it for 4 to 5 to 6 hours on competition days, this starts to dig into your hip. So that's the only gripe I had about this, but the holster had no issues with the holster. All right, and then I just mentioned the standard Canik holster that came with the SFX Rival, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, all Caniks come with a holster. Like, if you buy a Canik, you're gonna automatically get a holster. And this one worked for me for a little while until I didn't really care for it too much. So standard Canik holster, if you ever buy a Canik, you're gonna always get a pretty decent holster. Next is my Tier 1 concealed holster. I was running this for a very, very long time when I was running my Glock 43X in competition. I can't remember the specific one this is. Maybe it's on here. I think it's the, I don't remember, but it's the Tier 1 concealed holster, and I did choose to go with the light option. As you can see the imprint there, because on my Glock 43X I do run the Surefire X300, and I did go with just a Tech Lock belt attachment that you can see there. Now on the back here is like a little padding that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. A company called Vedder holsters, when you buy a holster from them, they give you this little cushion attachment. Now I don't necessarily know that it's supposed to be used this way. I think it's supposed to be used on the back side of your EDC holster if you carry appendix style. However, I made shift and put it on the side here because, again, like with the Black Scorpion Gear holster, the holsters, or the attachment to the holster that goes onto the belt part, it's not always comfortable. And if you're running these things like hours and hours a day at competition, this part right here like really digs into my hip. I don't know about anybody else, but that's a personal thing of mine. And so what I did was I added this little cushion here, and it works perfect. It gives a little space between the attachment and my hip, and it works great. So that's Tier 1 concealment holster for my Glock 19X that carry the Surefire X300 Turbo. My next holster is the holster that I've been running here lately, and sadly enough, I do not know who this holster is by. A lot of y'all have been asking me, what are you running now with that Kimber 2K11 Pro? I don't know. This was given to me by somebody who we run competitions together. And he was just like, hey, you can just have it. At the time, I didn't have a holster for the Kimber, so I was running this. Have no clue. I've searched all over this holster to find a name, and there's no name. So sorry I can't help you there, but this does run my Kimber 2K11 Pro in that 4 1/4. So that's that one. This is my holster that I ran my Canik. So when I first got into firearms, this is probably one of the first holsters that I bought, and I got it from Eclipse holsters. Eclipse holsters has like a lot of prints that are just, I've never seen a holster company with as many prints as Eclipse holsters. And so I went with the standard. Purple is my favorite color. I went with the standard carbon fiber purple. And I did opt for the OT clip here in the front. So as a female who doesn't wear jeans and pants with belt loops all the time, I'm a leggings wearer, I'm a athleisure wearer. So the OT clip here is a good option when you don't want to have the clips that have to go up under the belt. This is a great option. Very, very like stiff. Like once you clip it on, the holster's not going anywhere. So I do like that fact. I do try to run that on all of my holsters. And as you can see there, OT clip. And you can get it short or long, depending on your preference. But they do offer that option for you to get the OT clip, or you can get the standard clip. But I did run this with my Canik TP9 SF Elite, but one of the very first firearms that I own. And so I was like, I need a holster, and this was the one. So this is by Eclipse holsters. When I started running my Glock 43X, I said I need a holster right away. I started doing my research knowing that if I'm gonna be a gun carrier, I need a holster. So at the time I went to good old Amazon and got the MFT Glock 43X holster. Nothing crazy, you know, it worked. It kept the trigger guard safe, especially when I want to carry. Not my ideal situation now. Like I wouldn't carry this. This is literally for backup, but there's the little clips I'm talking about, or just the belt undercuts or whatever these are called, that I used to use, but not anymore, because like I said, if you put these on leggings or shorts, that when you get ready to draw that gun, the whole holster coming out. So this does not fit ideal for me. However, it did get me by for a little while. So again, I got this off of Amazon, and it's the MFT brand. This is another Glock 43X holster, and it does as well have that OT clip, and it also has this wedge that you can add if you want to or not. I think it's the wedge. I can't remember. If y'all know, put it down in the comment section. But what happens is once you put your, see, that one's tough too. Once you put your holster appendix style, or wherever you're trying to carry, preferably appendix style, and then you lock it into place here, this wedge actually kind of pushes up against the inside of your shorts or your pants or whatever, to allow for minimum printing. And printing means if I carry my firearm appendix style, I don't want anybody to know that I'm carrying the gun. And so if I print, meaning it looks like there's something under there, then that's not a good thing. So what this does is it helps to kind of push the holster a little bit back. That way, because the thing that you're worried about that's going to print the most is the actual handle of the gun, the grip of the gun. And so this helps push that more into your body. That way it's not printing. So I do like this concept. Once I did get into firearms and the different holsters that are out there, I learned of this, and I think I now have it on all of my holsters, like going forward. So I think this is pretty neat. However, I do not remember who sent this holster out to me. Somebody did send this holster out. I think he was like a small holster company, wanted to send it out to me. Can't remember his name. I done look all in my email and I cannot find it. So don't know who this is. If I happen to find it, I will put it on the screen. But if not, this was a great holster as well, because it's very sleek for my Glock 43X, and I was able to EDC it without it being super bulky. This holster is another Amazon special. This one don't even have a name on it. I got it from Amazon before I got my Glock 43X, I was carrying my Taurus G3C, and this is the holster for that. Very sleek. Again, I don't go this route anymore, but at the time I knew I wanted to keep my holster or my trigger guard safe in a holster. So I went to Amazon, got something super affordable, and this is what it was for the Taurus G3C. Another Glock 43X holster that I bought, and I have a ton. I wouldn't even say a ton. I have a handful of Glock 43X holsters because I was really just trying to feel out what worked for me. And to be honest, I got this one at, I want to say that I got this one custom made at Eclipse holsters, I think. At the time I was into the little slogan trigger pull, and so I put my own design on there and put the wedge on there, stayed with the OT clip, use it for the 43X for a good little while, and then I didn't use it no more. But this one is a great holster as well. I love how, and all these so far are kydex holsters. That's what the kydex is. It clicks in, so as soon as you put your firearm in, you'll hear an audible click of the trigger guard going into place, and I really like that. This one, I ran this one for a good little while, and I think again that I got this one made from Eclipse holsters, just a custom thing that you could do. It might not have been Eclipse, I don't know, but I did get this one custom made. Then after I was like, well, you know, all of these aren't working that great with my leggings with the OT clip, so it's like there a belly band out there that I could try. And then I came across the Filster Enigma holster setup. So it is a system. It's a 2-piece system. It's actually a 1-piece system, but I took my holster off because I was trying to see if I could run other holsters through this. And to be honest, you really can't unless you like kind of makeshift the holes to be in alignment with the system of the belt. So either way, this went like, I forget how it goes. I think it was like this. And so all I did was disengage the screws. Actually, this is going to go in the front right here, I believe. Disengage the screws, and then there's a magnetic system here that allows you to wrap it around your waist and get an appendix style carry like I like. I ran this for a good little while, and honestly, it's still one of my favorite holster systems to run because again, I wear leggings, I wear shorts, I don't really wear jeans, and so I needed my holsters to sit in place and not move, and this has allowed me to do that for like almost a year and a half, I would say, until I switched to my next holster. Okay, so this is one of my favorite holsters. This is by Vedder holsters that I mentioned earlier, and this does come with the quick detach. I don't even know what these are called, but these are not the OT clips is what I'll say. And I only run this when I wear jeans with a belt or any type of pants that have loops and I wear a belt. Little small wedge here. So I got the holster that comes light ready, and then I also have the magazine pouch that is attached, and we call this like the side tug or the side cars. Some people just call it different things. And the way it sits is it sits in your appendix like this, and then you draw your weapon, and then you also have your extra magazine if you choose to run something like that right beside it. I think this is one of the best setups that I've come across because everything is just right there. And then the way that it flexes is a plus to me because as a female, you know, we're all not shaped the same. However, if I can get that flexibility to kind of mold to my body, that's a plus for me. So this was the purple camo that I run for my Glock 43X with the TLR 7 sub light on here with the extra mag pouch. However, I did run into an issue is that I don't have the typical Glock 43X. My Glock 43X is a non-MOS Glock 43X. So therefore, it does not come with a light rail on the bottom, and it did not come optics ready for me to put a plate on there. I got my slide milled to put an optic on there, and then I came across a company called Recover Tactical that allowed me to add a light rail on the bottom. So that's kind of like shifting the shape of the Glock 43X, which would not fit this setup. The only way that it would fit this setup is if the Glock 43X was a MOS version. So again, if you're looking for something like this, just make sure you have the standard Glock and you haven't added any attachments to it because this will not fit your firearm. But I still love the Vedder holsters that has the side tuck or the sidecar on it. And speaking of, I got another one from Vedder holsters, and this one runs my Bodyguard 2.0. Look how like slim that is. This is probably one of my favorite ones to run because of how slim it is and how slim I am. It just works. Got my little wedge, still have the little belt attachment here, but I have a sidecar that is still just as flexible as the other one. So this one runs my Bodyguard 2.0 chambered in 380. One more that I got from Vedder holsters was right here. This is the metallic wildflower design. I like this one as well. Again, still have, now this one is a little bit more, it has a little bit more tension on it than the other ones, and then has the wedge on there. I run this with my Kydex SC Elite. So a lot of these holsters are for EDC purposes. I don't really use a holster outside of competition. I don't really use a holster for anything else but to EDC. And so that's that one. And then last but not least is my holster that I am currently running with my Glock 43X. This is by Onpoint holsters. A lot of you have asked me what holster this is. I recently ran it in a competition match and showed you guys what I was running, and got a lot of questions about this. Again, purple's my favorite color. He did the white accents on the washers, I guess you call them. Again, I went with the OT clip. Makes it very comfortable and secure for me to carry. Have my wedge here. Now, here's my 43X that I talked about earlier. We are empty. 43X looks like this. And so as you can tell right here, there's that Recover Tactical rail system that I added to the bottom of my Glock 43X. And then as well as putting the EPS carry on there to run. So it will not fit in the Vedder holsters that I showed y'all earlier. Although it comes with the light, it don't fit. For a number of reasons. One, because again, this is not the MOS version. This is a non-MOS version. I also have a Radian Afterburner and Ramjet comp on there. And then with the Recover Tactical system on there, it just won't fit. So what I had to do was reach out to somebody who said that they could do this setup. So I told them everything I had. We were communicating on basically Instagram DMs. And I was telling him everything that I had on the Glock 43X. And he was like, yeah, I can do that. And so he did it. Now, he did make this holster for me before I decided to put the Ramjet on there. So what happened was, as you can tell, it fits. Fits flush. No issues there. What I did have to do, once I did add the Afterburner and Ramjet on there, is I had to get a heat gun and kind of make this a little bit loose, heat it up a little bit. That way I can mold this to my liking, and it has worked perfectly fine. No issues, doesn't come out, very secure. And this is what I currently run. So again, this is Onpoint holsters. I don't know that they have a website, but they do have an Instagram. So I'll put that on the screen here, Onpoint holsters, and that's it. So those are all the holsters that I currently run or have ran here lately. Again, if you are not holstering your weapon, what are you doing? It's not good enough for y'all to just keep walking around with your gun in your pocket and it's loaded. It just doesn't work out for you. It doesn't work out for everybody else. So make sure you get a holster. Like I said, get on Amazon. If you can't afford like some of these high-end holsters, get on Amazon and just try to get the cheapest of the cheapest until you can afford something that you like. That's the best route to go to be as safe as possible. And I did want to mention that Vedder holsters also gives you this padding for your inside the waistband holstering setup. So with the entire piece like this, I can just take the Vedder padding, put it on the back right here, and run it. That way it's not pressed up against your stomach, up against your skin, or making you feel like the gun is touching your stomach or irritating your stomach. They do include this, and I thought that was so nice of them. And if you're looking to get a holster, I highly recommend Vedder. So far, Vedder is my favorite right now. And if you want to save a little bit money, just use this right here on their website when you're looking to get a holster. But I do have a question for y'all. What are some good holster systems out there? Because I do want the sidecar piece, and I know that I may need to get a Glock 43X MOS version in order for it to run like it needs to run with all the other holsters. So y'all let me know, what are your favorite holster companies to go to? And y'all just drop it down in the comment section, let me know. But until next time, stay armed, stay safe, and stay vigilant. Peace.